Hi, I'm Emily, and this is No Expert, and today we are making my family recipe for sticky apple pudding. This is a holiday classic in my house, and I'm very excited to show it to you. What is sticky apple pudding? Okay, it's really more like an apple cake or something like a sticky toffee pudding. And in fact, I serve it with a toffee sauce and whipped cream. This is a recipe that includes apples, dates, cinnamon, nutmeg. It's sweet and salty and like moist and delicious and just perfect for the holidays. So let's dig in. So the first thing I need to do to make this sticky apple pudding is I have some dates. I have 2 cups of chopped pitted dates. And then I have 2 cups of apple cider, which I'm gonna pour in here as well. And I'm just gonna boil these together until the dates soften, which takes about 5 minutes. It's very quick. So once I boil these dates and the apple cider together, it becomes one of the wet ingredients for my cake as a whole, as a mixture, along with this baking soda, which is the last ingredient. This is going to make it sort of bubble up. There's a little reaction that happens, and then that all together becomes part of the base for my sticky apple pudding cake thing. I believe that this neutralizes the acid and adds salt to the overall mixture, as well as turning it this very interesting jet black color. It smells sort of bready and delicious, and it's definitely part of the process. Now I'm going to let my date mixture cool for about 10 minutes while I get started on the rest of the batter and preheat my oven to 350 degrees. So other than the date mixture, this is a pretty standard cake mix, just with different proportions. So I have a little bit of butter, I have sugar, flour, eggs, baking powder, some different spices. So I have clove, nutmeg, and cinnamon, and then apples. Some peeled and chopped apples. So let's get mixing. The first thing I'm going to do is add my butter into the bottom of my bowl. And I'm just going to cream this together with my sugar. La 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 la. Trusty hand mixer. You could do this in a stand mixer if you really wanted to, but it's honestly, I always feel like it's not worth the cleanup relative to the amount of work in this particular batter. So this is a recipe that doesn't use as much butter as a lot of other ones, so it doesn't sort of look texturally exactly the same as like usual creamed together butter and sugar, but it's still important to get them well mixed. All right, butter and sugar mixed, I'm gonna start adding my eggs. And I'm gonna beat in my eggs one at a time. So, first one in. Crack your eggs on the counter instead of the side of the bowl. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. And now I'm going to, in thirds, add in my dry ingredients and my date goo. So for my dry ingredients, I have flour, baking powder, which I'm just gonna add in here. And then I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of cloves. It's about a half a teaspoon. It doesn't have to be exact. This is not part of the science. This isn't. I'm just gonna go a whole teaspoon of cinnamon. This has a very nice, like warming spice flavor. Very festive, very right for the holiday season. And I need a half a teaspoon of nutmeg, which is gonna take a second. Living that fresh nutmeg life, you know? All right, I think that is sufficient. All right, and I'm going to just start doing this. Ooh, that smells good. So as you can see, this makes a very trendily grayish goo, but it will actually bake to be brown. It goes through phases, changes, just like us. You know, life, it just keeps on keeping on, and we change, we adapt, we grow. Okay. Oh, the weather outside is weather. La 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 la. La la la. Ooh, she's thick. And I think that our dough is just about ready except for our apples. Last but certainly not least, I have 2 cups of chopped and peeled apples here. Now this is a mix of Granny Smith and a spare apple I had in the bottom of my fridge that I was like, might as well bake it. The official recipe actually calls for Cortland apples. I just took the apples that I have because very rarely do they have Cortland apples in any of the stores here. Any apple that's like not too sweet and good for baking, should work just fine. Usually I go for something more tart, like a Granny Smith. Follow your heart, but you can't really go wrong. All right, so folding in my chopped and peeled apples. Smells great. Smells very holiday-ish. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but this is like something I grew up eating. I really love it. I know it looks kind of weird at this phase, but I promise it's good. All right, and then the last thing is I have a bundt pan, which I prepared by covering it in butter, and I'm just going to move my goo into my pan, and then I'm going to bake this at 350 for about an hour. Actually, because I want it to, it's pretty thick and you want the whole thing to bake. The only thing you need to watch out for is that the edges don't burn. Okay. Oh, you're heavy. Why are you heavy? Batter made and put into my bundt pan. The last thing I have to do is bake it. So I'm gonna bake this at 350 degrees for almost an hour, honestly. What I'm looking for is for the whole thing to be cooked. Like if you do it with a cake tester, it's not too wet inside. It's a moist cake, but it shouldn't be wet, like nothing should really come out. So it is a pretty long bake time, but it'll cook all the apples inside and it'll stay pretty moist. So that's what we're gonna do. And in the meantime, we're gonna make our toffee sauce. Here are the ingredients I have for that. I have brown sugar and butter, whipping cream, heavy cream, vanilla and salt. And I want to say a quick thank you to Diamond Crystal Salt Company because they did in fact send me this gorgeous baking salt. I love their salt, so I was thrilled to be asked. All right, so to make this toffee sauce, which is the traditional accoutrement for this sticky apple pudding, all we have to do is melt together our butter and brown sugar and stir it until it dissolves. And then I'm going to add my whipping cream and simmer it together until it starts to thicken. And then once it's at the consistency that I want, I'm just gonna add a little vanilla and salt, and bing, bang, boom, we got ourselves a toffee sauce. Super easy, super delicious. Really something that you can do just to like make things special any night, any time of the year. It takes a few minutes, very easy. My mother does it all the time. One of her many positive traits is making chocolate sauce and toffee sauce at random intervals. All right, so moment of truth. I'm gonna flip my bundt pan and hopefully this cake comes out. Oh, I heard a whack. Huh? Look at this. Here, center it. Ooh, you get the idea. Ooh, that's a lovely looking bundt right there. And this is it. This is the beautiful finished apple cake. We gotta do one very important thing, which is I'm gonna slice it. I'm gonna garnish it. I've got my toffee sauce all made already, all done here. And I have some whipped cream. This is just some whipping cream that I whipped with some vanilla paste. I honestly didn't even add sugar because this is sweet enough, just like you. I think we're just gotta plate this thing up and taste it. Let's get to it. I am very excited to taste this. It smells like Christmas. It smells like nutmeg and cinnamon and apples and dates, and like it is really filling the house with a beautiful thunder of smell, and I'm very excited to eat it. So I'm gonna stop talking and serve it now. Look at this beautiful, like rich brown and notably not blackish greenish, which is the color of, yes, the date goo, but not the final product. It is beautiful. It is the queen of holiday desserts. It is a crowning achievement. It is something that will make the people at your dinner say, wow, if you're hosting a dinner party for some reason, I don't know what you're doing. I think that this is a very lovely looking, smelling, and presumably tasting, although I do have to check, sticky apple pudding cake. So here she is. We have the beautiful, finished, gorgeous apple pudding. Okay, so it's pudding in the British sense of like it's a dessert, so it's a pudding. It's obviously literally not a pudding, in the American sense at least. This is like a very moist, gingerbready kind of cake, and I am so excited to dig in. Okay, so I've got it coated here in toffee sauce and whipped cream, and I will be taking a lactate pill. And lactate, if you want to sponsor me, please shout. I would love that, and I need that, and I buy a lot of your product. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fantastic. creamy, salty, sweet, spicy, like rich and like thick, but like not so thick that you're like, oh, it's too thick, I ate too much. It's like, it's just on the side of light for like a rich, thick dessert. You know what I mean? It's like because of the apple and because of the date. Like a lot of the ingredients in here are like fruit, you know? It's being held together with fruit. So that's where I go. And the toffee sauce really lifts it. I'm gonna eat this whole thing, aren't I? Very tasty. The crust, like the top layer gets a little crunch while everything stays like nice and moist inside. It really is, the experience is like eating a piece of gingerbread cake, I would say, is like the closest thing. The flavor is like a sticky toffee pudding with pieces of apple in it. And then like toffee sauce and whipped cream and vanilla. And just like a little bit of salt. And it's just so well balanced, and it is so satisfying, and it is so festive, and I'm in love with it. I'm sorry. I'm starting a new life with sticky apple pudding. So for me, this is obviously a very nostalgic dessert. I really recommend it. I think it is wonderful. I don't think it's something, I know it's a little, maybe it's a little out there, I don't know. But I do think that if you try it, you will be like, this is great. It's not an unrelatable flavor at all. It is toffee and sweet and salt and fruity and like spicy with like that sort of gingerbread cake vibe. It's moist, it's really satisfying, and it really feels very festive. Slap a cup of eggnog on me and I'm done. Is this, you know, is this the classic that everyone thinks of? No, it's not. And that's what makes it so great. You can bring it to a party. You can make it for your friends. And they'll forget sugar cookies ever existed. Listen, gingerbread, fine. Shortbread cookies, delicious. But like, you've had them. If you're looking for a festive dessert that will wow your friends and family, I think this is it. I think it's very lovely. Goes well with apple cider. If you're looking for like a little pairing, or like maybe some red wine, or I don't know, like really anything. It goes with everything. Not Diet Coke. Not that I haven't mixed them before, but I wouldn't. It's a treat, it's something special, and I think it's something that your friends and family will really appreciate. Or if you're eating it all by yourself, no one needs to know, you'll really appreciate it too. This thing could be breakfast. It has fruit in it. All right, so that was my sticky apple pudding recipe, my family's sticky apple pudding. It is so tasty, it is sweet and a little salty, and it has some of those like really festive warming spices for the holidays. I really recommend giving it a shot if you got a few minutes this week, or really any time of year. It's great through the winter, and if you make it in the summer, you still won't be mad at it. If you liked this video, don't forget to smash a like on it and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye. Happy New Year. Happy holidays, everybody. Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.